Hello all, this is Rajesh Palraj. Welcome to my YouTube channel T-Freeze Coding. This is the third video of ElectricLoadTrend series. Let me do a recap. In the first video, we were able to create a Blazor web app skeleton project using .NET 8, and then we looked at various render modes: server, WebAssembly, and an auto. And then we were able to do a quick view of how it works. And then the second video, we looked at the controller, and then we looked at the Swagger, how to use Swagger to test the controller. In the today's video, right, we're going to hook it up with the database table and then try to grab some data and then use the controller to pass the data back to the uh, web project, that is a Blazor one. But we're not going to do the last piece, but we'll use the Swagger to test it out. Let's take a minute, quickly review the business case one more time, and then we can get this started. Um, pass this video, review this business case, and then we can start back on. Okay, let's let's get going. So this is the project that we created last time. I'm going to start with creating a data project. I have the CLI ready for me, so I'm going to go ahead and create a data project here. Let's go back here. Okay. Okay. Next piece is, right, we have to add the project to the solution. It doesn't show up here in this Explorer view. Let's go ahead and add the data project to the solution. Yeah, there it is. I would need a model project to store my model, so I will go ahead and create that one too. Okay, got the models created. That's good. The next piece is, right, so we want to create a table, and then we want to load data into the table. In the interest of time, right, I have created the script for the database table that we are going to use. The table name is going to be generation data, and then the data ID is going to be the identity field. We're going to have a date time, and then the generated megawatt, and then the actual field that's going to represent is it the actual that's being generated by the plants, or the forecast that's being generated by the forecasting model. So this is how the data look like in the insert statement, right? You can see, right, this is just a identity field, I think so. And this is the timestamp that we're going to use, and then this is the megawatt value, and then 1 represents actual, and then 0 represents false. If you go all the way down, you can see the 0 that represents forecast. Let's go ahead and execute this command. Open up, you can bring up your SSMS, and then go to your project. In this case, right, I'm using staging. Start with the staging here. So if you are using a different database, then replace that database name here. Select all the statement and do an execute. Yeah, everything is good. So let me refresh here. The table should show up here. It should have 4 columns. Let's go ahead and query it. So okay, so I have the data here. Got a total of 480 rows, 240 each. So I'll have a 240 records for the actual and 240 records for the forecast. Okay, got the table and the data ready. Let's go back to the code. The next piece is, right, so we have to use a scaffold command to generate the model and the context. Before that, right, we have to add some packages. So let's go navigate to the data project. So electric star.data. I got the command handy. Let me grab that one. So I'm going to start with the Entity Framework Core. The package got added. Let's go here. Dependency package. Yeah, you can see it here. The next package I would need is a SQL Server. EntityFramework.Core.SqlServer. Add that package. Okay, I've got that added. That's good. Then the third package is the design. In our previous video, right, in the data mover series as well as the weather data series, right, we have elaborately discussed the dependency injection and then the library, the packages that's being used. So if you have any questions, you can go back and refer those videos. Okay, so let's go ahead and file the scaffold command. So this is the syntax. .NET EF represents entity framework, and then it's a DB context scaffold. This is the connection string. I'm going to use the SQL Express. Staging is my database name. So and then we got the connection, trust connection true, and encryption no. And then the output directory is going to be this one. So I want to make sure this folder exists. Let's go ahead and fire that up. Yep, it brings up here. I have this one here. This is where the model is going to be stored. And then we're going to create model for only one table. That's the generation data. So we're going to bring up, we're going to create a context and the model for generation data. So just the one single table here. And then the context is going to be generation data context. And then this is the location where the context will be placed. Let's go ahead and test it one more time. Yeah, that folder exists. That's good. And the namespace is going to be ElectricLoadTrend.Data-F. Okay, let's go ahead and then the scaffold command looks good. Let's go ahead and execute it. Okay, your startup project does not reference design. I thought, okay, that's good. I thought I executed that command, but let's do it one more time. Server, oh, okay, I kind of missed it. Okay. Okay, this is the package that we need to install. Okay, got the design too. That's good. Let's do a clear. Let's execute the scaffold one more time. Okay, let's build. Yeah, that's fine. This warning says, okay, we have a connection string here that needs to be moved to the configuration file, but we're not going to do it. That's fine. We can live with that right now. So, or we can disable the warning later. So yeah, this is complaining saying it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't understand this model. So let's go to the model, right? As part of the scaffolding, it created a model. It's the same copy of the table, right? Data ID, DT, generated megawatt and actual. So all the column are represented as properties here. So let's go ahead and rename this one. So I'm going to make it as data. And then, yeah, here too, I will rename this as data. Going back here, it complains, okay, it's not able to, because it's not able to find this model. The first thing we have to do is, right, the model needs to be a project reference in the data. Let's go ahead and get it done. Okay, we are in the data project. Let's do a clear. Add a model project in the data project as a project reference. Yeah, here, you see it here. It exists here. Let's go back here. Do I using? Yeah, it did add the model names using statement. That's good. We did change this as data. Yeah, it's able to recognize now. So that's good. Let's change it here too. So yeah, there are no warnings and no errors. So looks good. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead one step back. Let's do a build to make sure there are no compilation errors. Yeah, we're gonna fix the warnings later. Yeah. Okay, we got this one. So the next thing is, right, we got the data project and then a model project. The next one is we need a uh, service project that's going to have the business logic to pull the data from the database. So let's go ahead and create the service project. Yeah, yeah, I'm at the root folder. This is the current working space. I'll go ahead as create the service project that's going to be a class library. Yeah, it will not show up here because we haven't added that project into the solution file. Let's go ahead and add that one. Okay, I see the service project here. That's good. Okay, I'm going to clean up the unwanted class. Yeah, I don't need that one. I don't need this one too. So okay. The next one is, right, I would need access to the database context. So in that case, right, I have to add uh, add a project reference in the service layer. So I have to include data project as a project reference in the service layer or the service project. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm adding a reference of the data project. I have to go into the service project and then do that. Okay, let's open it up. Yeah, see the project. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's do the using ElectricLoadTrend.Data. Okay, using ElectricLoad.Model. Yeah, I'll add both using statements. In the service, right, so we want our goal is to pull all the generation data. So I would go ahead and create a class file, class first. Let's do a rename symbol, and then I'll say generation data services, generation data service. Okay, let me copy this one, rename this file to, okay, I created a duplicate. I'm just gonna clean it up. Okay. Yep, both matching file name and the class name match just fine. That's fine. So we all in the previous videos, right? We discussed about it, right? For the any service, right? We're going to use the interface to expose the needed method and then hide the uh, private methods. Let's go ahead and add a new file and then pick interface. Interface starts with I, and then I'm going to use the same class name. Yep. So it looks good. Looks good. The first piece is, right, so I would need a context. So yeah, I kind of lost the namespace. Let's do it one more time. Data. Let me copy the same. Do a model. Okay. Yeah, first thing is, right, I'm going to create a context variable. So the context, what we get is generation data context. Yeah. I'm going to start with underscore to represent the the class level variable against the constructor level variable. So we're going to use the dependency injection to instantiate the context class. So it's the same concept. So, I would the constructor will get a copy of the object, so I'm going to get a copy in the generation data context and then assign it to the class level variable. Okay, and this piece will the object will be instantiated via the dependency injection. During the runtime, right, we'll get a copy of the object. Let's focus on the next piece. So our intention is to get the generation data. So I'll start with the void. Say get generation data. So we're going to use the data context dot generation data dot. I would need toList. Okay, it's there, toList, because toList comes from the package. You see this, right? Entity Framework Core. This package provides the needed extension like toList, toArray, and more. There are plenty of extension comes via this package. So toList, let's look at that, right? It's going to return a list of generation data. So I'm going to create a variable as list of generation data. List generation data. Okay, generation data list. I will store the result in the generation data list. This method should pass the generation list back to the calling method. Return generation data list. Okay, looks good. So we have the method ready in the service layer, but not quite ready. So we have to go to the interface, declare the signature using return.model. Okay, looks good. I am going to inherit that interface. Okay, now it looks good. Okay, so we spoke about the dependency injection. So we're going to start with the in this, right, our main method, the main project with the main method is the server project, that is ElectricLoadTrend.web. So let's go here. This is where our host builders are available. So we have this one. So the next thing is, right, first piece is, right, I would need is the database context, right, that needs to be passed as a dependent, need to be passed to the service project via dependency injection. So let me go ahead and declare the namespace. Okay, so the service project needs to be accessed via accessed from the web project. We're going to add another project reference. Let's go ahead and add that one. So let's navigate to the web project. Let me grab the add reference command. Yeah, we have the add reference. We're going to add the service project in the web. Okay, so this is a chain of references, right? So from the model is being referenced in data, and then data being referenced in service. If you reference service in the web, we will get a reference to service project, data project, and a model project. So that's kind of like a cool. We don't need to do a duplication of references. The chain of references will kick in. Let's go ahead. Okay, ElectricTrend. So I got a copy of everything. So let's do a service. as well as I'm going to do a namespace for the data. The first thing I'm going to do is, right, I want to do a add database context and DB context. Let's go here. Start. I think I may need a let's see, add DB. Okay, it's there. I don't need to add a new namespace or new using statement. Here, add DB context. I want to make sure, okay, we are using the correct DB. This is the DB context I have to use. Okay, let's clean this up. Let's go back here. Okay, this is the context I want to use. So to make sure I use this one. Okay, the next piece is, right, in the service, right, I have the service that needs to be configured. So I will use add scoped because I want an instance of that service needs to be created for each request. So I'm going to use the scope generation data service generation data service, not the database context. Okay, so we got the database context and the generation service are registered. That's good. Okay, so far good. So we got the most of the pieces covered. The next piece is the controller, right? We spoke, right? The controller is the one that's going to be invoked from the web page. So we're going to create a I'm going to copy the HTTP verb, HTTP get. I'm going to follow the same syntax, public action result. I'm going to use get generation data. Okay. Okay, before that, right? So here, right? We'll start with the namespace services. We are going to get the data via the service project. So I'm going to use the namespace service, and then we're going to use the dependency injection. So we're going to create a variable first, private. So I'm going to use the get generation data service. Generation data service. Okay, looks good. I'm going to use the constructor here. Let me go ahead and copy this. Okay. So we will get a copy of the object via the dependency injection. So we will have this one. Let's go here. So we want to call, okay. So we want to call the get generation data method. So this method will return the list of generation data. That's a model. So I'm going to use one more using statement. I will include model here. So I'm going to use the same thing. So list generation data list. Well, okay. We will store the value in this list and then pass it back to the web like this. So I'm just checking return. Okay, so what's, oh, it's just expected. Oh, right there. Okay, missed a column, semicolon, sorry. Okay, I think it looks good. Okay, let's go ahead and do a build. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's do a clear. I'm gonna just run it. .NET run. This should provide. Okay, there it is. The link is channel over here. Let's go here and here. So I don't want. I haven't hooked up with the web page yet. I'm going to use the Swagger. So there it is. Get generation data shows up here. Yeah, we spoke about about this in the last video, right? So if you want to do a independent testing, then the Swagger comes real handy in testing the controller piece. Otherwise, right, we have to create the UI components to hook it up and then test out. That's going to be like a going to complicate things. So you want to create a small piece of code and then test it as early as possible to catch the defect and then move on. Otherwise, right, if you pile up the code and then try to test it, there could be too many issues. Then it will be too difficult to fix all the issue. My approach is, right, always divide it into small blocks of code, test it, and then get comfortable and then move on. So let's go try it out. I think let's fire it. Let's see what happens. Okay, that's great. We got the response back. I can see, right, all the data with the actual truths, and then I'm going to do go all the way down. So yeah, I can see that false too. Uh, pretty well. That's good. So I think, right, we are able to connect to the database and then get the data. Let me do a summary. So what we did in this video is, right, we added three projects, data that will have the database context, and then the model that is having the generation data model, and then we have the service project where we have the logic to connect to the database and get the data. And then we, on the controller, we created a new action method, get generation data, which HTTP get type, and then we invoked the service. So, and also we added these two statements in the in the main method to instantiate the context as well as to instantiate the generation data service uh, via dependency injection, so that, right, we are able to get an instance of the copy of an object. And once we have the object, we were able to invoke the get generation data, and then we are able to store it in the local variable and then pass it back to the calling method. I think pretty much that's it. I think this could be a good stopping point. That's all I got. If you have any questions, please post it in the comment. The script to create the table and the script to insert the records, I'll put it in the code project, and also the link will be available in the description. You should be able to grab it and then uh, execute it in your database, and then you should be able to test it out. If you have any questions, let me know. I think that's all I got. Have a good one. Thank you. I'll see you next week. Bye.